Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast For the Love of Drama. Today I'm going to be talking about monologues. And to start with, I'm going to explain the definition of a monologue within the theatre. A monologue is a long speech by one actor in a play or film or as part of a theatrical broadcast. A single character's extended speech, revealing thoughts, emotions, and sometimes intentions. The key points of a monologue are a single speaker. Only one character speaks, providing a focused perspective. Extended length. Monologues are longer than ordinary lines, so there is a more in-depth exploration of thoughts and emotions. Audience or listener. The speech may be directed to the self. The actor addresses their self. Other characters who may be there or are absent. Or the audience by breaking the fourth wall. And if you don't know, the fourth wall is a term in theatre which means the invisible barrier that is in between the audience and the actors on stage. So you've got the back of the stage, the two wings where the curtains come from. So that's 1, 2, 3 walls, and an invisible or wall that doesn't exist that is called the fourth wall, that normally when doing a play actors on stage do not interact with the audience. But in cases like pantomime, or sometimes, as I'm explaining now, monologues, this sometimes does happen. Moving on, reveals character. Monologues can often disclose the speaker's personality, motivations, conflicts, or vulnerabilities, sometimes unintentionally. Psychological insight. A detailed portrait of the speaker's mind is revealed, including desires, fears, and moral dilemmas. Dramatic context. Monologues usually occur in a certain kind of situation or moment that increases tension or leads to self-revelation. And finally, language and style. The speech may vary in tone, emotion, and in a rhetorical style to impress or persuade. This reflects the character's personality and the moral of the narrative or storyline. Different types of monologues are a soliloquy, where a character speaks their thoughts aloud, usually when alone, revealing private feelings. A dramatic monologue. A character addresses or speaks to a silent listener, often disclosing personal views, thoughts, or experiences. This type of monologue is common in poetry and drama. An internal monologue. Now this is when characters' thoughts are heard without the character speaking, sometimes through text that is projected onto the back of a performing stage area, or through a voiceover. And now I'm moving on to the pros and cons of monologues. So I'm going to start with the disadvantages. The lack of reaction or interaction. So acting is generally based on listening and responding. A monologue doesn't have the immediate, spontaneous reaction of a scene partner. So this increases the challenge to stay in the moment. And it's also more challenging to keep the audience engaged. The actor has full responsibility for delivering the monologue in an interesting and relatable way that will keep the audience entertained and on board until the end of the speech. And there is also a potential for misrepresentation. If the monologue is not delivered authentically, monologues can be misleading, leaving the audience unsure of the character's true intentions. And let's have the more positive things about doing a monologue, the advantages. Emotional depth. The actor is able to reveal complex emotions and insights into a character's persona or identity, allowing a deeper connection with the audience. Character development. Monologues can be used to explore the character's intentions, past, and internal conflict, giving the audience a clearer understanding of what kind of person they are. And the focus is on the actor, which is another advantage. Monologues give actors a chance to showcase their range and versatility, helping them demonstrate their emotional range and storytelling ability. Right, well, we're coming to the end of this video. I think I'm going to leave it there. I have performed a monologue last year in Dorchester, which was nerve-wracking and challenging, but I did love doing it and got a good response from the small audience that was there. So I really enjoyed that. And it is challenging and it is scary, but it's also very rewarding. And depending on what type of monologue you might do, I quite enjoy interacting with the audience. Though this particular monologue, I was addressing someone that was absent, speaking my thoughts about a particular person. So I didn't interact with the audience. But of course, the audience being there is important. Otherwise, you wouldn't really have a show. You'd just be doing a rehearsal, really. So monologues are challenging, but they are also very rewarding. And I'm hoping to carry on in this vein for a while on the podcast. And I'm intending to write a few monologues or research on monologues and perhaps read out a few snippets or read a few or just broadcast a few interesting monologues from other people. And I hope to come up with some examples next week. So thank you all for staying to the end of this video. I hope you all have a great week, and I'm going to leave you here, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care all. Bye-bye.